Welcome to today's class. Uh, we are discussing the chemistry related to uh, light. In the last few classes, we tried to cover up the fundamentals of photochemistry, and particularly in the last class, what we have seen is uh, two special kind of reactions. One is cis-trans isomerizations under photochemical condition, and the other one is the Paterno-Bucci reaction, right? So what today we'll do is another very important reaction, which is Norrish reaction. So this reaction is uh, actually of two types. One is Norris 1, another is Norris 2. Okay. Now, Norris 1, this particular reaction, uh, it is related to, uh, actually both are related to carbonyl compounds, carbonyl chemistry. Okay. Both are related to carbonyl chemistry. In one case, what we see is that the alpha cleavage, okay, the sp2 carbon of carbonyl uh, and the corresponding alpha carbon. So we have that bond cleavage. So C sp2 and C. So CsP2 means this carbonyl carbon, and this bond cleavage we see. And in special cases, we'll see the C alpha and C beta. Okay, so that bond may also cleave, or sometimes C alpha and oxygen. Okay, that bond, if is there, that can be cleaved based on some specific compounds. Okay, so that we'll discuss more details. And the Norris type 2, that generally relates with the hydrogen abstractions. Okay, so the gamma hydrogen abstraction via 6-membered ring. So 6-membered transition state. So gamma hydrogen abstraction. Okay, so that chemistry will be looking into. Okay, so let us move to the first one. Before that, let me just summarize the nature of carbonyl compounds. So saturated carbonyl compounds, particularly the ketones, exhibit 4 main bands, okay, in their ultraviolet UVB spectrum, spectra. So these bands are centered on, you have the lambda max around 280, 195, 170, and 155, but these are lower than 200, so we cannot actually detect by our regular spectroscopic technique. Okay, so we have the limit of generally 200 to 800. Okay, so remember that one, 200 to 800. That is our nanometer. That much is the our general range of the instrument. Okay, there are some instruments we have 190, it can start, okay, a bit more sensitive one and more costlier one. So the most important band is the 280 nanometer, that band, and which is correspond to the n-pi star transition. Okay, so that we have come across in the last classes. The photochemical reactions of carbonyl group is initiated by n-pi star transition. So promotion of an electron will lead to either singlet state or triplet state. So that you came to know generally for carbonyl, you have singlet triplet energy gaps are very low, so it can easily move to triplet after being excited and from S1 to T1. So that we have seen. So photochemical reactions given by carbonyl takes place either by singlet state or by triplet state. Okay. Now, so what we will know is that these reactions are classified into different categories. Here we can see the alpha cleavage I just told in the first slide. Okay, and we can have the beta cleavage. So that too related to Norrish type 1, particularly Norrish type 1. When we talk about, generally it indicates the alpha cleavage, but certain conditions you have the beta cleavage too. Okay, so these are the important part. Another is you have intramolecular or intermolecular hydrogen abstraction. So that generally relates to the Norris type 2. And you have other reactions, the addition of carbonyl oxygen atom to the carbon-carbon multiple bond, and that you have seen in the last classes related to the Paton-Noguchi reaction. Okay, so in many cases, the four processes are competitive depending upon what kind of substrate you have. Okay, which product will be more, that means which route will be more based on what kind of structure of the starting material is having. Okay, so which one will be more predominating route will be based on the stability of the radical particularly. Okay, so and another thing is that the kind of solvent you are choosing. Okay, so these are the some salient features of the carbonyl chemistry. Now straightforward, let us look at the Norris type 1. So the Norris type 1 reaction is the photochemical alpha scission, means alpha bond cleavage, okay, of aldehyde and ketone into two free radical intermediates. The carbonyl group accepts the proton and is excited to a photochemical singlet state. I mean, this is photon it is absorbing and it is going to the singlet state. Through this intersystem crossing, it can come to the triplet state, and the cleavage of the alpha scission or the alpha bond uh, from either states are possible. Okay, so which will generate the two fragments or two radical species. The size and nature of the fragments depends upon the stability of the generated radical. So this is important. Okay, so this part you have to note down. The stability of the radical is much more important. Okay, now just let me explain why this alpha cleavage can happen both from singlet as well as triplet state. Okay, what does it mean? So, okay, so just before that one, Norris type 1 process is given by three types of ketones. You have the saturated ketone, acyclic, you have saturated cyclic, you have alpha, beta, gamma unsaturation. Okay, so we have different types of ketones available. They are, I mean, involved in Norris type 1 kind of reactions. Okay. Now, for saturated carbonyl compounds or any kind of keto, if you have, while looking at the Norris type 1 reaction, you have two processes. One is the primary process, another is the secondary process. In the primary process, what happens? You have the initial compound, carbonyl compound, so it undergoes excitation by irradiation of light. Okay, and initially you came to know, according to Frank Condon principle and the law of transition, there will be no change in the spin multiplicity. So S0, which was the ground state, now will become to S1. And if I write the biradical formation, what will have, oxygen will have one radical and carbon will have one radical. Now this is S1 means their spin will be different, right? So you have, for oxygen I wrote it is upward spin, it's downward spin for the carbon. Now this one, as you have the singlet first excited state and triplet T1 triplet state, they are of very low energy gap for carbonyl compound. So what we will see is that this one can easily be sliding down to T1. And here what changes you will see here, I have written double bond, but it should write is a single bond, okay? It's a mistake. So you will have the two radicals. Now what you'll see is that you have the spin inversion. So S1 came back to T1, right? So these are the excited states available for the carbonyl we know. Now what will happen is that this bond will be breaking, okay? This bond will be breaking. That is the bond we are talking about, okay? Now this can happen from S1, this can happen from T1. Why for the both systems it can happen? Quickly, if you look at, if I write for this one, this S1 state, what we can write for C and CH, this particular, this bond is a normal sigma bond, right? So you have two electrons, they will be opposite spins in a paired condition, right? Now in this situation, what can happen is that this particular oxygen electron, to get back the double bond with this carbon, what it will need is an opposite spin, okay? So this one can combine with this spin, okay? So what I'm telling is you have the carbon, you have the carbon. So I can take this bond like this. Okay, let me write in a just opposite direction. Okay, so this bond can be like this way. You have two spin, right? And you have carbon. This spin is there. You just ignore that spin because that spin has been created due to irradiation. Now this oxygen electron and this one can make the double bond, right? So that means if that is happening, you have this one. So what will form is that you have this electron for particular S1 state. It's kind of like this, okay? When we talk about from T1, you have the similar probabilities. So for T1, if you look at, you have carbon, oxygen. So oxygen spin here, carbon spin here. Now this one I can take this way, okay? This is the environment. So that means this oxygen and this electron can make the pair and this will come out, okay? So in that case, what will be the situation? You have CH2, you have C double bond O, and here you have the electron, this is the electron, okay? And you have carbon, CH here R, and CH2 R double prime. So here you have this one, okay? So this is the electron nature. So that means you can have the access of alpha cleavage from both the spins, both the excited state, okay? That is justified. So that's why it can follow, okay, from both S1 and T1. Now, after this primary process, the alpha cleavage, yes, tell.
Sir, this T1 state is carbon is upward direction electron, and this one downward direction. Then these two reaction is one product. How to possible, sir?
No, that is I'm telling. That is I'm trying to explaining. So here
Yes, sir.
you have the oxygen. So look at the S1 state. Okay, let me write clearly here. So you have S1 state. What is the situation? You have carbon and oxygen. Oxygen upward direction, carbon downward direction, right? So you have another carbon is connected. Okay. Now what I'm telling is in after excitation, alpha cleavage happens. So what alpha cleavage is? This bond is going to be clipped. Okay. This bond is going to be clipped. Now this bond means you have two electrons there, right? So two electrons,
Yes, sir.
they should be in paired form, and if it is in paired form, they should be in opposite, I mean, spin state, right? So what we can
Yes, sir.
what we can think is that this bond means this is the two electrons, right? Now this oxygen you have a, if the this bond has to break, what will happen is that you have a bond formation simultaneously. So this oxygen you have the electron which is upward direction. To make a bond here, what it will need? An electron of opposite spin, right? So
Yes,
it
sir.
can take
Yes.
this electron, understood, to have this pi bond formation,
Yes, sir.
and this will be cleaving. So that is the thing I'm telling. So you have now oxygen carbon double bond. This electron remains. Okay, that means you have a radical formation here. Got it? And you have
Mm.
carbon separated, and you, groups are there. So you have this is the thing happens. So you have the alpha cleavage, CC bond cleavage happen. Okay, this for the singlet state. Similarly, you can get it from triplet also. So you have oxygen upward direction, carbon upward direction, and you have the carbon and similar thing, right? So to make this one, it can make the bond and this can come out. So both cases, you have the CO double bond can reform, okay, by generating
Yes, sir.
and C-centered radical, okay. So only thing is that your two radicals, what they will form, okay, in singlet state, the two radicals what they will form will have opposite spin,
Opposite.
and from triplet state what they will form of same spin. Okay, so that is the only
Yes, sir.
difference, but you have the excess of uh, alpha cleavage. Okay, so that's the point I'm trying to clarify. Okay, so now this alpha cleavage happens. Now,
Okay.
now what next? What will happen after that? So we have the secondary process. Now secondary process means it has a I mean, now the radical is going to react. Secondary process means these radicals will be quenched, means it will try to make bonds. Okay, so radical cannot stay as it is, so it will try to now somehow make the bond formation, and that means it will somehow do the reaction. So that all reactions are included in the secondary process. And secondary process, you have the several different types of reactions. One is the decarbonylation reaction. Okay, decarbonylation reaction. So you have that radical form in a primary process, right? So decarbonylation means you have this bond is breaking, so carbon monoxide is coming out. Okay, and you have this radical generation. This is one. Now after generation of this radical, what can happen? They can combine and you have the neutral product. Okay, so the combination reaction can happen, radical combination. Now one thing can further happen is that this after decarbonylation, this was formed, right? This is the thing, this carbon radical formed, and in the primary process, you remember you have another carbon center radical was there. Okay, now among them you have two types of reaction. Here I have shown one. One is they can combine, recombine. Recombine is the general process of any radical reaction. Okay, recombination is always there. Now you can have another reaction, uh, the hydrogen abstractions to the alpha carbon of a radical, if it is available. Okay, now here if you look at this particular radical species, you have alpha carbon having hydrogen. Okay, so that means you have hydrogen abstraction will take place. So how this radical will take the hydrogen, and you have a generation of radical, and that radical make a double bond, so you have a key alkene formation. Okay, so this way you have reactions. This is the route one via decarbonylation. Okay, so carbon monoxide is coming out. Now this when it will happen, it happens generally in the gaseous form, and uh, if you have a chance of generation of very stable radical at the center, okay, then only decarbonylation step will happen. Otherwise, if the radical is not stable, what it will do, it will do some other reactions. And what reactions they will do, just you come to know in a minute. So what other reactions are intermolecular hydrogen abstraction? What is that? So you have that radical, okay, in the primary process was formed. So this radical take the hydrogen from here, okay, you have the alpha position of this radical, okay, you have a hydrogen, got it. So that hydrogen it will take, and it will make the aldehyde as a product, and you have a carbon alkene as a product. Okay, so you have two products. This is another route. What is happening? You have the acyl radical. It can be quenched by abstracting the hydrogen of another radical species. Okay, if the hydrogen is available to the alpha position of the radical, so alpha 2 of that radical. So this, if you take this radical, this with respect to the radical, this is the alpha center. Okay, but here written beta means it is the overall compound we are talking about. The alpha beta notation is there. That means this is from the initial parent compound I'm talking. It's mentioned. Okay. Now, one more reaction is there. Uh, okay. So this process can only be possible if the alkyl radical has at least one alpha hydrogen. I mean the beta hydrogen. Okay. So the beta position, beta carbon, it should have the hydrogen available, then only it will be happening. Now you have one more reaction, that is intermolecular hydrogen abstraction by the alkyl radical now. Okay, so this is your acyl radical and this is the alkyl radical, right? This is alkyl, this is acyl. Okay, acyl radical, and this is alkyl radical. Now what can happen in the previous step, what you have seen, the acyl radical is abstracting hydrogen. Now here what you will see is that alkyl radical can abstract the hydrogen because you have this position hydrogen available, so it can take that hydrogen. Okay, and if it is taking that hydrogen, what it will generate? It will generate one simple alkane, and you have the ketene, right? So it was two radical here, so they make a double bond. So you have a ketene and alkane. Okay, so these are three steps. All of them are included in the secondary process. Okay, so Norris type 1 cleavage is given mostly by those ketones whose n-pi star state is lowest one. Okay, in most of the cases, n-pi star state is the generally the lower one. However, there are certain substrates, okay, certain keto compound where we see is that the pi star is lower than n-pi star. Okay, and what are the examples? If you have multi-aryl keto, okay, so like aryl alkyl keto, you have more conjugations. So di-aryl ketone, those are having the n-pi star gap is larger than the pi star. So in that case, chemistry from the n-pi star is not easily accessible. For example, if you take the benzophenone, okay, in benzophenone we don't see the Norris type of reaction. Okay, in this case, what we see is that you have S1 is the pi star and S2 here is the n-pi star. Okay, so benzophenone means you have multiple pi bonds, which makes the HOMO to be okay, HOMO-LUMO gap is to be shortening for the pi. Okay, pi star, that is becoming shortened. So this is lower. So in that case, we don't get the excess of n-pi star, and so we don't see this chemistry. Okay, now let us come to some examples. Here, if you look at, this is one keto compound. You have this side the branch, okay, having 3-methyl connected with the 1 carbon, and this side you have a chain. Okay, now if you sign with light, what is going to happen? Which side it will make the cleavage, right? That is the question. Now you can easily understand this side the radical will be more stable. Okay, if this side is cleaving, this radical will be more stable, and if this side is cleaving, alpha cleavage is happening, this radical will be much less stable. Okay, so that's why the route it will take will be of the left side. Okay, so more branched one, so that is the route it will take, and this side this will not happen. Okay, so after this is happened, this is the primary process. Now you have the secondary process is going to happen. You have hydrogen abstractions and combinations, so those things will happen. Okay, so Norris type 1 process is efficient in liquid phase only if a stable radical is formed. So in stable radical, if it is forming, the liquid phase will be more beneficial, means you'll have more chances of stable radical formation. So the stable radical includes, you know the already, I don't need to tell, this is you have gone through already, you have many kind of stability. So allylic, benzylic, you have tertiary, alkyl, acyl, those things are stable radicals. Now, if I give this as your problem, so what will be the answer? If you look at here, both sides the same group. Okay, so what you will see, this will clearly go decarbonylation. You understood or not? This is going to be decarbonylation route. Why? You have the stability here, the cleavage will happen, and you have the radical generation, this radical which is more stable. Now after that you have the formation of this one, this is the pH, okay, C double bond O, this one, and pH2 CH radical. So this is highly stable. Okay, highly stable. Okay, so this is your primary process. Now secondary process, what it will be, it will not undergo any kind of hydrogen abstractions or all, because you don't have the alpha position hydrogen available this for this particular radical. Okay, this radical you have the alpha hydrogen, but before abstracting that one, what it will do is it will prefer to be cleaved, since you are generating very stable radical here. Okay, so you have decarbonylation process, and then this radical and this radical, they are going to be combining, and so you will have the formation of this species. Okay, so the reactions all will be driven by the nature of radical. Okay, that is the main point here. Now Norris type 1 for saturated cyclic ketone. So for cyclic ketone, you have, this is the cyclic example. Okay, so it will go as usual, singlet, triplet and all, and then you will have the alpha cleavage, and then you can have the decarbonylation based on the situation. Okay, and after decarbonylation you can have this as your one product. That means these two can combine. Okay, and you have another is the hydrogen abstraction. Now this radical having this alpha position of this radical is having hydrogen, so it will abstract this hydrogen, generate one radical, and then you have a double bond formation. Okay, so alkene formation. Now another route is hydrogen abstraction. Okay, so this is acyl radical, it can abstract hydrogen. So what it can do is it can abstract hydrogen from this beta carbon. Okay, so you can generate the double bond here. And the third route, so this is the first route, decarbonylation, route 1. This is route 2, and the third route will be just the opposite. This can abstract the hydrogen from here, and you will have the ketene formation. Okay, now remember the ketene, they are very reactive. So if you have any kind of nucleophile, they are going to react with the ketene. Say suppose you have alcohol presence, so it is going to react with the ketene and generate the ester. Okay, so the ROH, if it is there, so what is going to happen? It is react, it will react and it will open, and hydrogen will be taken. So ultimately, you will have the ester formation. Okay, so that will be happening. Now, for a specific example, you have the this 6-member ketone. So what is going to happen? The initially alpha cleavage will happen, and you may have a chance of decarbonylation and hydrogen abstraction. These are the routes you have just seen. Okay. Now this for this particular substrate, what is going to be the major route? Because the decarbonylation, we know that that step will be predominating if you have the radicals are very stable. Okay, now this compound doesn't have much stable radical. You have just the primary radical formation. So decarbonylation is not expected that much. Before that, what is going to happen? You have the hydrogen abstraction steps, and it will generate different types of products. For example, if you look at here, you have the decarbonylation steps is nullified. So what it can do is this can abstract hydrogen from here to generate this as the product. This can abstract the hydrogen from here to generate this as the ketene as the product. Okay, so these are the different products can form. Now, as I told, if you have the nucleophilic solvent, means suppose you have the alcohol, you are doing the photolysis in alcohol, then what will be your major product? Your major product is going to be the ester. So it will drive the reaction in this direction. You have the ketene formation, and immediately the ketene will react and it will generate the ester as your main product. Okay, so these are the things we generally notice in photochemistry of cyclic carbonyl compound. Now, one route always I tell is the recombination. So you have the generation of the biradical. Okay, so you have the two radicals, right? And always you have a chance of coming back. Okay, now what is the evidence for that? Is a reaction if you take some this kind of substrate. Okay, so you have here one methyl upward direction, right? Now if you do the photolysis, this bond is going to be cleaved because this radical is more stable. Okay, so that is happening, and then you are having recombination. So when it is recombining, before that this can undergo rotation, so it can come back to the downwards. Okay, and you can have epimerization reaction. Now here a couple of examples I am giving for you to solve. So these are the examples you have to practice. Okay, so this is one. What will be the product? This is one. What will be the product? And this is one. What will be the product in two different conditions? Okay, one is gas phase, another is liquid phase. Okay, so this you will try to solve later on. Another is this one. So one is in presence of alcohol, another is without alcohol. So what are the products, possible products, and the corresponding major products expected? Okay, that you need to solve based on this discussion. Okay. Now we'll move to 5-member ring. So 5-member ring. In 5-member ring, you have the similar phenomena. You have the alpha cleavage. Okay, so this is, you can have recombination, you can have decarbonylation. Okay, and you can have this product. So after decarbonylation, you can have recombination to give that product, and or what you can have is this can further undergo cleavage to have this stable alkene. Okay, so those are the general reactions. Now, for example, this is your substrate. You have this one, and here if you look at alpha, beta, gamma, so you have beta gamma unsaturation. Okay, so in that case, what will be your step? What will be your step? Okay. So as usual, if you shine light, it will be undergoing alpha cleavage first. So you have the alpha cleavage. Okay. And then it can undergo decarbonylation because you have a stable radical formation here. So you have decarbonylation step. It will generate this radical, highly stable. Now this radical, okay, so this radical has formed, which is very, very stable. Now what can happen is this radical can rearrange itself. So what you can expect is you can have hydrogen abstraction. So it can take one uh, proton from here, and you will have another radical generation. So you have a double bond formation. So this is one route. Another is this can rearrange. So I mean, this way it can generate highly substituted alkene. Okay, so this is another route. Okay, now you may think that this is, you have two radical, so they can combine and you can have a four membered ring. That is obviously has one chance, but what my suggestion is, that is not so much stable. So it will try to go to a product formation which is much more stable. Okay, so the alkenes with high substitutions, they are much more stable than stained ring. So low membered ring like four membered, three membered ring formation. Okay, there is no option, then it will form. So that is the thing. Now another kind of substrate is, suppose this one. Okay, this is, you look at here, three membered rings are there. So it will undergo alpha cleavage. So which side it will cleave? Definitely this is the side, because you have substitution, more stable radical formation. So this will form uh, this radical cleavage. And after that, what is going to happen? You have three membered ring, remember, so that is undergoing bond cleavage. Okay, so you have this ring opening and these two sides. So what you can think is, it is forming, and you have decarbonylation this side. Decarbonylation is not your first step, rather this because okay, so you have the propyl radical here, the radical, the cyclopropane ring, you have the this carbon, or this carbon radical can be stabilized. Okay, so that's, in that sense, you have decarbonylation can happen, and then the cyclopropyl ring will be opening and you have a two double bond formation. So you have, this is one product, and the trans will be always the major product. So just you need to look at what will be your major product, because this is the cis and this is the trans environment. So trans will be much more stabler than the cis. So that's why that is the major product. Now this one you have to solve it. What will be the products you can expect. Okay. Now four membered ring quickly. So for four membered ring, you have the again alpha cleavage, which will generate this one, and then decarbonylation can happen to get this one, which can uh, either abstract one hydrogen, okay, or they can recombine. So if they are recombining, it is forming this one. If it is abstracting hydrogen, so you have hydrogens available here, right? So it can abstract hydrogen and generate one radical here, and that radical making the double bond. So you have this one. Another route is, you can have this bond cleavage. Okay, so which will generate two neutral molecule. So one is ketene, another is alkene. Okay, so that can happen. Now the third one is one of the most important one, which is, it is generating the carbene. Okay, so ring expansion. So this one radical, it attacks the oxygen and this is falling. So we have the ring expansion. So 4-membered ring now became 5-membered ring. So it is a 5-membered ether formation. So that one, this carbene now can do the carbene chemistry. If you have alcohol, what you have learned in your first semester is that carbene reacts with alcohol. So you have insertion reaction. So the OR and hydrogen of the alcohol, they both will be connected to the carbene carbon. Okay, so that reaction will be happening. So remember, this alcohol, whenever you will see, you have, that is the major product, because this cyclopropane formation is not so easy. Okay, rather the ring expansion is much more easier to have more stable compound. Okay, so that's why this is the major route generally we see. This is the major route we generally find. So photolysis of cyclobutene is also stereospecific reaction. Stereochemistry at C2 is retained during the rearrangement of the oxocarbene. Ring expansion reaction always exhibit retention of the configuration in methanol, okay, or any kind of alcohol. So this is one of the example. If you have the, I mean, cyclobutanone kind of compound having a lot of stereochemistry, you have stereo centers. What you can expect is that the ring expansion is happening, but if you look at, this is retained. Okay, that is told in the previous this one. Here it is mentioning the retaining of the uh, configuration. Now, you can have the ring expansion reaction for another kind of compound. Though you don't have here, if you look at, don't have here 4-membered ring, but when you have multiple rings are connected, that kind of keto can undergo such reaction. So here, if you look at, this is the bond is going to be clipped, and then you can expect the ring expansion, because this is a very strained molecule. So that's why it will try to relax and generate the ring expansion product. So you have the carbene formation, and then in methanol you have this as your product. Now beta
Sir,
cleavage, yes. You have
sir,
class?
what is the mechanism of this
Which one?
this one, sir, this side, left side.
So
Mechanism, what is the methanol?
that is the carbene reaction. So carbene, if you have carbene, okay, what can happen is that if
No,
you
sir,
have,
no, sir, this one,
which one?
the lower one,
Now,
bottom.
lower, which one? This one or this one?
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
This one.
First.
Which one? This one?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay. So what you have to do, this is your cleaving, okay? Eh, because these two are same. So N1 will be cleaved, understood? So
Yes,
it will
sir,
generate the
yes, sir.
radical, okay? It is generate a radical, and then this radical is going to what happen? It will, so you'll have a carbene formation at the alpha carbon, okay? Got it? Because both sides are same. Understood or not? This side and this side same. So you have just the bond cleavage. Remember here decarbonylation we don't see.
I cannot hear, sir.
Can you hear me?
No, sir. Yeah.
Can you hear?
Yes, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
So what I'm telling is this Raskonda, you have to
Sangu.
Okay, so uh, so what I'm telling is this bond is going to be cleaved, right? This bond is
Yes, sir.
going to cleave. It will generate the two radical. One is carbon center radical, and another this carbon center radical, right? Now,
Yes, sir.
what is expected is that you don't have the decarbonylation. Means another bond cleavage will not happen because it will ended up with two radicals. They have no chance but to combine only. Okay, to generate the
Yes,
cyclopropane.
sir.
But cyclopropane formation is not so easy. It's a minor group. So what can happen is
Yes, sir.
rather it will try to expand the ring. So suppose you have, I'm not writing the full here, I'm just writing. So you have the generation of this one. Sorry, this is the double bond O. This radical you have this radical. Okay. So this is
Yes,
react
sir.
this opening. So you have carbonyl, you have carbon formation, right? So five members.
Yes, sir. Yes.
The same thing. Carbene and then
Okay,
methanol
sir.
is reacting to generate this part. Okay.
Okay,
Now
sir. Understood.
quickly go to the, you have the second class. Do you have the next class?
Yes, sir.
Whose class is this? Next class?
Das Gupta, sir.
Okay. So then I have to stop here. Maybe in the next class, I'll be continuing. Okay. So your exam will be up to this Norris alpha cleavage. Okay. I thought I'll complete the Norris 1 and Norris 2. So many things are there. It's a bit. Anyway, okay. So we'll try to continue in the next class or whenever you tell your agree to do have another classes in this week, just let me know. We can discuss few important things. Okay, so you go through and try to solve those problems. Thanks for your joining of these classes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.